everybody. It's Holly Burns of Holly Burns Psychic. Welcome to Consciousness Coaching Lesson number 5. Our thoughts are things, and if you could see your thoughts, wow, would you change them? That happened to me, and I want to share my experience with you. So, I've always known our thoughts are things, and I can see people's thoughts coming off the top of their heads in like a white tornado. It's like swirls off the top. It looks like white smoke swirling off the top of your heads when you think thoughts. It's really cool. Well, when people say thoughts are things, get that from Abraham Hicks. That's who I learned that from. They say thoughts are things. Well, what that means is that your energy that you think never really dissipates. It is just a part of your energy that comes off of you when you think it, but it doesn't just go nowhere. It goes somewhere. It stays part of the universe's energy. It stays part of the universe's vibration. It becomes part of the Akashic Records, which is a big library of the universe where you can access anything that ever happened, past, present, and future. It's all kept in the Akashic Records. So every thought you think is recorded, and it never goes away, and you got to answer to it forever. So just remember that, because when you die, you will have to answer to all your actions and all your thoughts. And if you think thoughts enough and you focus on them enough, it will become a thing in a different dimension right next to this one. I don't even think right next to, but like a different non-physical dimension. Well, you could say it's non-physical, but really, what is it? It's just another experience you're having that you're not aware of over here. This could be non-physical too. We just think it's physical, right? But it's another dimension. So if you focus on something long enough, it will actually happen over there. So when people wish someone didn't die, they're probably creating another life with a different ending with that person. And when they die, they'll experience both of them. They become one into their consciousness, and they have the experience of both of them. Or if you are thinking about who to marry and you're choosing between two guys and you don't know which one to pick, but you pick one and you go with it, and you always wonder, I wonder what would have happened if I would have married, Bruno. And so if you think about that enough, you're actually going to have that experience in another dimension, and that's going to come through when you die. You'll understand all of them. I don't know. There's so many things I don't know about this. This could be going on infinitely all the time, but I do know if we focus enough on something that it starts to become something, right? Either in this dimension or a different one. So if we don't focus on it enough to have it happen in this dimension, then, you're not being married to two people at one time simultaneously, but two complete different experiences in this dimension. So anyway, but that's not what I wanted to get into today. What I wanted to get into was this most unbelievable thing that happened to me. I was sleeping and I woke up, and as I was falling back to sleep, I was like awake but asleep, because sometimes we can do this thing where if you close your eyes, I learned this from Robert Monroe from his books. He's so cool. He says, body awake, or mind awake, body asleep. And so sometimes when you're going to sleep, you can actually open your eyes with your eyes shut. So sometimes I guess I was doing that then. I do that when I meditate. Like, I'll close my eyes and I try to look into the darkness. So you open your eyes once you close your eyes, but then you open your eyes with your eyes closed. So you're looking into the depths of that darkness. So you keep your eyes open and your mind awake, and then your body just goes to rest. And you kind of slip into this state of a trance state where you can do all kinds of really cool things. Because basically that's what our consciousness does every night when we sleep anyway. We slip out and we go all kinds of places and do all kinds of things. So anyway, I was doing that, I guess, when I was falling back asleep. And all of a sudden, it was the coolest thing that ever happened. I was racing on a highway of thoughts, my thoughts. So my thoughts were a white line. There's a white horizontal line going out in front of me, like, okay. So it was like on those YouTube videos where they'll show a skinny little road along the side of a mountain. So you've got the mountain, and you got a cliff, you got a road that's like 4 feet wide, and they'll show a video of like a school bus going down it, right? And then they meet another car, and you're like, oh my God, how are they going to do that? There's no room for them to pass because there's a cliff on the bottom, right? that's like what the road was. It was like a skinny white line, but it was racing horizontally, completely level. It was going as fast as I thought my thoughts. So when I thought a thought, it was, well, I was following along my thoughts. It's like my thoughts were thinking, they were creating the highway. So every time you think a thought, you'd go further down the highway. Okay. But we think thoughts at Mach speed. So I was traveling at Mach speed. I was traveling like, I mean, if I was in a car, I would feel like I was probably going 100 miles an hour. And so I was going down this horizontal highway, following along with my thoughts. I was actually slightly behind the thoughts. Like the thoughts I was thinking right now were propelling me forward. And so the thoughts I just thought a second ago were right ahead of me on the highway. But so it's like my past was ahead of me, which is really weird, but I was going forward. So when I think a thought, it would just propel me. Basically, it would propel me forward, and it's propelling me forward so fast, and that my thoughts were like a horizontal line. So I'm going down this energetic line, super fast, and it's completely level. It's completely level all the time. Like, so it's like you're zooming, like you're in the air and you're just going on a zip line and just zip lining, except it's completely horizontal. So you zip line, every time you think a thought, it pushes you forward down, right? So I'm doing that and it's absolutely level, completely level. Shoot, but it zigzags this way. Okay, so it's going back and forth this way, but it's completely level. And I'm like, I realized that my thoughts were creating the line. I was like, whoa, that's my thoughts. Okay, I'm looking at my thoughts. That's like the coolest thing that ever happened. I'm watching my thoughts. That's like really cool. And then when I got that excitement like that, oh my God, what's happened? That's so cool. Well, that's the coolest thing ever. All of a sudden the highways jumped up. Oh, yes. And it stayed up there for a second. And then I went, oh, wait, what was that? And it came right back down. And it came to the same exact frequency. And I realized when I thought, and then like a minute ago, like something happened a couple seconds later, and it was a lower frequency thought. So I don't remember what it was, but anyway, when I thought it for just a millisecond, the highway, so the white line is going horizontal. When I went, oh my God, this is so cool. All of a sudden it went zoom and spiked up. So the highway moved up a frequency, right? But I didn't sustain the thought long enough to make the highway go up there. So when I went back to my normal go-to frequency, I went right back down again to the same level. And when I thought a frequency of thought that was lower than that normal go-to highway, it jumped down. So it's making the line goes up for a minute, then the line goes back straight, and it zigzags back and forth, and then it goes down again for a second. And it only took like this long, went shoom shoom like that for me to think that's how fast it reacted to my thought. And as soon as I went down just a second, boom, and I went, whoa, I don't want to be down there. And then I get like thinking back again, and I realized they were telling me, like they were giving me an example. Whoever was working with me, the entity of souls that were showing me this lesson, it was like guides that were giving me a lesson. They were showing me how we spend 99.9% of our thoughts and our time thinking on the same freaking frequency our entire lives. I was like, okay, so I don't have a lot of variance there, do I? Nope. It's like, so if we could see that, our consciousness would improve so fast. We would be like, ooh, can't think down there. Like when we think beating up ourselves thoughts, like things like that, oh, looking a little older this morning, aren't you? Like, ooh, boom, down goes the highway. It's like all those things. And so I was just thinking about, if we walked around all day and saw our highways of thoughts going out, what we would do? Oh, gee, she's way higher than me. I need to get my ass in gear, get my frequencies up there too. It would be so cool, but we can't. But I wanted to show you guys this, or tell you about this, because it made me realize, I'm like, holy Hannah, I didn't even realize, like how much of the time we just kind of sit on the same frequency. We don't challenge ourselves to stay high. So now, what makes your thoughts higher? The elders just said, tell them what makes thoughts go up. Okay. So what makes thoughts go up is a higher vibrating emotion. creates a higher vibrating thought. So if you feel a higher vibrating feeling or anything, remember, I wasn't like sad or happy. I was just excited, right? So I was like, oh my God, like that was so cool. And as soon as I did that, went right up. So basically, you could see your thoughts. I mean, if you think anything, I always say thoughts are on a scale from 1 to 10, right? And 6 to 10 is positive, 5 is neutral, and 1 to 4 is negative. And so you can take a situation and see it from both sides. So I'm not telling you just to take, just to be happy go lucky all day long. That's a whole nother video. We'll get into that. But right now, I'm not telling you, just make yourself happy no matter what you feel. Well, I kind of am, but we can align it. You can take what feels down here and you can align it. There's always a perspective above par, always a perspective above par to be had on any situation happening to you at the very same time. You can choose to feel this one or you can choose to feel that one. So I'm just encouraging you all to not spend too much time below your par. So you've got your par, you've got your normal. You can switch your go-to. That's another thing I forgot to tell you. You can switch your set point. Like where that highway was, if I were to sustain, a higher frequency of thought, my highway would start being created on that frequency, which it does. It would create, all of us do this. All of us create highways on different levels all day long. We're all doing this. And so just remember, it doesn't just stand still, it creates a highway. And why is that important? Well, that connects back into absolutely everything, a domino all the way through the entire planet. But first it starts with you and your life and your physical shell and your happiness. But it also filters out because we're all one. So what everybody else is vibrating is called the collective. You take the average vibration. If someone's at a 4 most of the time, someone's at a 6 most of the time, they're going to average out to a 5. So it's really important for us as a whole planet to keep our highways as high as we can make them. Because first of all, it's going to affect your health and your wellness and your happiness, and all the solutions in your life are going to be easier to find because up on the higher highway is easier answers to all your problems as well. But anyway, yeah, that was like the coolest thing I ever saw, a thought highway. So, okay, well, that ends today's lesson. I hope you liked it, and I hope you can imagine that. I wish I was a good, graphic designer with videos here, and I could like have made a graphic for you to insert into the video, but it's only me, and I don't got time for that right now, so that's not happening for this video. But someday when I hire my professional videographer to do these videos for me, we'll put a little graphic in there and go back and insert it in there. Okay. So for now, you're gonna have to use your own imaginations and imagine your little thought highways going shoot 98% of the time on the same exact level. So just be aware of that we all need to work on our go-to highway frequencies and raise them up as high as we can make them, because the whole world will be a cooler, better place when we do that. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.